Imagine the first ever human who looked at their reflection and realized, that's me. That moment changed everything. But reaching that moment took evolution 60 million years. This is the story of how human mind slowly woke up through 5 extraordinary phases, with the 5th phase becoming the breakthrough that changed humanity forever. "60 million years ago, long after dinosaurs became extinct, small tree-dwelling creatures called primates began to appear. They were the ancestors of monkeys, apes, and us humans. Primates did not evolve much for the next 58 million years because their bodies and brains remain more or less the same. But then 2 million years ago, a new kind of human ancestor emerged. Homo habilis were different from anything before them. The brains of Homo habilis were significantly larger, around 50% larger than the earlier primates. We know this based on the archaeological records from this era revealing larger brain skull sizes. Larger brains meant more number of neurons and more number of neuron connections, which must have contributed to the high level of intelligence. We have additional archaeological records from this era. Tools made of stones. While these tools are simple, they are revolutionary enough to highlight the existence of intelligence among Homo habilis. 2 million years ago, Homo habilis were not simply adapting to the nature. For the first time, they were beginning to shape the nature. Then came Homo erectus, and they had 2 main characteristics. First, they were even more intelligent. Their brains were 60% larger than those of Homo habilis. Higher level of intelligence allowed them to make even more complex tools, but additionally do one particularly extraordinary thing: control fire. Fire meant warmth, protection, and cooked food, fuel for a growing brain. Secondly, Homo erectus gained self-awareness and awareness of the world around them. For the first time, they were starting to think in terms of something like, this is me, that is you, they are they, this is something I eat, that is something I drink, and so on. Basically, the consciousness among us was beginning to emerge. We know this based on archaeological records from this era revealing such complex tools that can only be used via coordination among team members. And coordination among team members is only possible via this sort of self-awareness that this is me, that is you, and we need to coordinate in such and such way. Next came the Neanderthals. In addition to having the 2 previous traits, that is intelligence and self-awareness and awareness of the world around them, they had an additional cognitive ability, the awareness of the other's thinking. For the first time, they were thinking in terms of what others must be thinking. For example, the thinking would have been something of the sort: she must be in pain because she got injured. Or perhaps he must be hungry because he has not eaten for the past 2 days, and so on. This theory is supported by various evidences from this era. For example, we have found corpses with some sort of small bandages applied here and there, which were perhaps the marks of wounds and injuries. This indicates that the concept of care had perhaps emerged some 300,000 years ago among Neanderthals, as they had just started to feel the pain of other members. We have also found evidences of first ever buried dead bodies, perhaps done so to avoid the flesh being eaten by insects or other animals. The emotion of empathy may have begun with Neanderthals. Then came the so-called archaic Homo sapiens. They looked more like us than any species before. They were even more intelligent, more self-aware, and more aware about the other's thinking. Additionally, they gained the ability to reflect on thoughts themselves. For the first time, they became aware of what others were thinking about them. In the name of evidence, we have found personal ornaments like jewelry or fitted clothing from animal skins, suggesting that early humans were becoming conscious of their appearance and identity. This meant that thinking and intelligence were no more focused only on survival. They were becoming more and more symbolical and abstract in nature. For the first time, humans were not just aware, they were also aware about their awareness. Yes, it's kind of twisted. Finally, the fully modern human, Homo sapien, emerged, and with them came a new level of mind. They were more innovative than ever before, creating complex tools, musical instruments, trade networks, and controlled use of fire in new ways. But the biggest leap was in the development of their autobiographical memory. For the first time, they were able to project themselves backward and forward in time. That is, for the first time, the abstract concepts of past and future came into existence. For example, while humans had been dying since forever, this must be the first time that they were thinking in terms of, for example, what happened to this person I knew? Where did he go? Is this something that will also happen to me in future? This theory of the emergence of autobiographical memory is supported by evidences. We have found cave arts showing people and animals. Perhaps these were drawn remembering their dead family members and pets. We have also found dead bodies buried with some goods, perhaps for their afterlife use. Autobiographical memory gave humans something no other species is known to possess at this scale: the life story. And from stories came myths, culture, rituals, civilizations, and perhaps even gods. Humans had started asking deeper questions about life, death, and meaning. Why are we here? Where do we go after death? Is there something greater than us? Is there a creator? That is the story of the next video.